Before we start today's podcast, I just wanted to give a general disclaimer. This is not therapy, and this is not a replacement for primary care. This is a podcast that has an interest in mental health awareness, and I'm also studying to be a therapist, but that is not what this is. So I hope you enjoy our program, and now let's tear into it. Hi, welcome to TearIntoItPodcast. Your host, Ilya Waterman, and here's our esteemed guest.
Hello, I'm Nick Elsmore.
Nice. Welcome.
Thank you.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good.
Nice.
Yeah.
We were just catching up a little bit. I see you every week, which is lovely.
Sure do.
Because we play
Yeah.
D&D together, which is fun. But yeah, I just kind of was interested to hear today about like how we practice our wellnesses. I know that we both enjoy to dance. We just recently went out together. We went to like a little underground club. We listened to like the Bad Polka set with like the Berlin
was
DJ.
fun.
That was crazy to me. And if you see this lady, I'm so sorry, but like do not. Like what did Edwin say it was? It was almost like
Cumbia, I think?
Cumbia, yeah. And I was like, no, this is polka.
Yeah.
This
yeah.
is straight up polka.
It was so unexpected.
Yeah.
Because the music was really good leading
Right
up
before,
to that.
yeah, and like they had a guy who was like doing the electric cello. Do
Right,
you remember?
yeah,
it was
yeah.
like trancey. It was so cool.
It was fun.
And then all of a sudden it got really polka-y. And then all the, what are they called? The wooks. The wooks loved it. They were like so into it. It was kind of gross.
I did look around and I was like, I feel out of place because I feel like we're the only ones not enjoying this, and it's making me feel like a jerk.
Yeah, yeah, a little
So maybe
bit.
I should just leave.
Yeah. And then I talked to my friends afterwards, and she was like, yeah, that was the part of the show where like I had to like go outside and like smoke. And I was like, yeah, sounds about right.
I'll be back in an hour maybe.
Yeah. Because Wesley Holmes was closing. I'm so sad we missed him. Apparently he did really well.
One day we'll see him.
Yeah. I
So
see
I've
him
never
at
seen that person. So.
Flammable all the time. Yeah. And then we went to Flammable.
Yeah.
That was good. That was St. Patty's Day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Nice.
Fun.
Yeah. So you like dancing?
Love dancing. Hoping to be able to do that some more. Like as you know, I've been like, I just got out of like a job situation that kind of made me feel a bit more restrictive. And especially like Flammable being on a Sunday night, kind of hard to do.
Yeah.
And so I'm hoping that this new opportunity gives me some more freedom. I already
new
feel
job.
better. Yeah.
And your last day was yesterday.
Sure was, yeah.
Congratulations.
So today's a very good day.
Yeah, today's the best day.
Yeah.
You
I just
made
went
it.
for like a 3-hour walk around Capitol Hill.
Oh, this morning? Oh, wow.
Yeah, I left my house like 3 hours ago, and then I haven't been home. I've just been walking around.
Okay.
Yeah.
We live very different lives. I walk around town too, but like I usually have a dog. And like she's just dragging me to Mud Bay. And then like to Nico Cafe.
She knows where
has
they
to
are.
stare at the dogs.
What's Nico?
Nico Cafe. There's a cat cafe.
Oh,
Seattle.
Yeah, it's the one with the windows like on the sidewalk.
Oh,
yeah.
and she'll like sit there and stare at the, and then everyone inside is like, a husky, and I'm like,
yeah.
I'm like like for her, it's like washing fish in a barrel. She's like, I want to kill these cats, and I'm like,
And you're like, these are cute.
yeah,
She's like,
yeah. It's all good and fair until she like causes a commotion. So if the cat comes up and it's like, then I'm like, oh, we gotta go.
Yeah.
Like we can't make the cats
like, I'm causing
uncomfortable.
ruckus in the kitty cafe. Yeah.
Yeah. Some of them like it, like because they're like, ooh, look a dog, and then some are like, you need to get them out of here.
Are they ever like, can't catch me because I've got the glass in front of me?
Yes and no. Some of them don't even realize, I think,
Mm.
that there's glass. Or you know what I mean? Like, it's like they're still freaked out that a dog's there. Yeah, which they should be.
Fair.
Yeah,
Especially
good for them.
Kiki's pretty big.
I know.
If I was a little cat, I'd probably be scared too.
White devil. Yeah, I know. I know.
Yeah.
She's a bitch. Anyway.
Love her.
Yes. And then, so I kind of want to delve into, like, yeah, so walking, is that kind of like a meditation for you? I'm curious.
Yeah, I would say like doing general like activities like that, just kind of outside and kind of having my body move, listen to music, walk around. If it's springtime, see like the flowers, you know. Historically for me, also skateboarding has been a little bit of a meditation for me. That one's been a bit hard. I had like a pretty bad injury a couple years ago, and there's like still a bit of a fear factor coming back into it.
What happened, if you don't mind asking?
Yeah. It's funny. So there's a skate park on Orcas Island.
Yes.
That's kind of like, it's got a bit of a legacy. It's really big, little crunchy, cracked.
Is it like a bowl?
Concrete. Yeah, it's a really big bowl. And now I've been there twice, and I've broken a bone in the same spot on the same bowl, exactly a year apart. And I'm a little scared to go back there a third time.
I think that's the universe telling you this bowl isn't for you.
The last one was pretty bad. I had to go get a surgery.
No.
Yeah,
What
I broke
bone?
my collarbone.
No.
Yeah. So normally it's not too bad, but just the way mine broke, it like exploded. So they needed to put a plate in. And
do you set off like
no, you don't
metal?
Actually.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So even if you go through a thing, you don't have like a piece of paper. Okay, cool.
No, although, like life hack, if you want to skip the TSA line, just wear a sling. Because I went on a trip like maybe 5 days after this happened. I was going to Europe for a month. Which was awkward timing because at first they were like, yeah, maybe we'll get you in surgery in like, I don't know, a couple weeks. I'm like, well, I'm not going to be here in a couple weeks. Can we do this now? They're like, maybe we'll do it when you get back. Like,
what? That's bonkers.
So they managed to get me in. And so, but I was flying to France, like just maybe 4 or 5 days post-op. And I had my sling on and everything was gone. I just looked normal, but had a sling. And someone just came right up to me and was like, no, come over here. And they just brought me straight to the front of the line.
Wow.
So if you want to skip the line and you don't have the pre-check or whatever, just put a sling on.
Yeah.
Maybe bring some crutches or something.
Yeah. Just look like severely injured. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Interesting. And you're fairly well traveled. So you've recently been to like Mexico. Is that also a part of your journey, or is that just something you've always been called to do? Do you have like wanderlust? Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've got big wanderlust.
Okay. And like, are you always seeking to go to new places, or do you like to revisit places you've been?
A little bit of both, but I definitely prioritize new places.
Okay.
Yeah. So my partner and I,
Giovanna, who we've all
met. You all know Giovanna.
We do.
We went on a lovely trip to. I'm trying to remember when this was. It was sometime in the fall, I think. And we went to a lot of different places. We went to Italy. We went to Portugal. We were in the Netherlands. And yeah, I had been to none of those places before. So
okay.
Yeah,
and this was all in one trip.
Yeah.
What's cool about Europe is usually if you visit one, it's like you can visit at least 4.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
For like tiny. €30, you're just like boop, pop over.
Yeah. And once you're there, it's pretty easy with the passport experience.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's also part of my mental wellness thing.
Yeah,
too. Like,
yeah.
I really
Did you travel as a child? Oh, okay. So your parents kind of exposed you.
Yeah. So my dad's English. So I'm first generation English there. And so I guess kind of like the agreement, I'm guessing, how it went down, like when my parents were getting married and talking about having children and stuff. It sounds like it was very much my mom being like, we're staying here. We're not going to be going to England. We're staying here with my family. So if you want me, that's how this is going to go down.
I see.
And then it kind of seemed to work out. It's like, okay, every 2 years, though, we go to England. And we spend a few weeks with the family.
Does your
there.
dad have an accent? I've never known this. Why don't you have an accent?
Because I
did you as a child? I know.
Yeah, so every time I would go to England, especially when I was younger, I would come back. Even just 2 weeks in England, I'd come back and I'd have a little Yeah. Hello.
Yeah.
Oh, pardon.
Pardon me.
So it's always funny. My friends would make fun of me at school.
Okay. I used to have a Southern accent, so no, it's not cute.
Got rid of that.
Well, it comes in
I just think
sometimes.
it's fun.
If I talk to my mom, you'll be like,
starts to come back.
Who is this person?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's too much. I'm always, because, I don't know, roots. Because it's like how I heard words. That's why I use y'all a lot. Like, I hear, like, maybe even in my inner monologue, I think, because my mom's, like, has, like, a Kentucky little bit in her.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you've got, like, a little Southern accent going on?
A little bit in, like, the back of my head.
Yeah.
It's kind of gross. If I get a little too drunk, it'll come out.
Oh, that's fun. All right. I'll keep an eye on that.
Yeah. No, I don't drink much anymore. So that's hard.
I know.
That's hard. And also, I could slip into any accent. I love accents. I think they're hilarious. Yeah.
I'm so bad at accents.
I mean, me too. You've heard them at the table.
I know. They're fun.
They're fun. They're crazy.
They're not as
bananas.
bad as Ryan's.
No, but bananas,
sorry, Ryan.
like, no, he's comedically
He knows.
bad.
Yeah, he knows.
Yeah, he
It's
does kind
hilarious.
of know. And then we push him into it, which is the even better part. It's like forcing anyone to do an Australian accent's hard, but like someone who's bad at accents, it's like, oh no,
oh no,
oh no. I always just jump back to Kim and Kath. Anyway,
great show.
It is such a good show. Yeah. Well, and like, do you consider like, is TV comfort for you? I get stressed by television.
I feel like TV is more of like a black hole that I get sucked into. Usually, like if I'm watching a lot of TV, I'm usually probably not doing too
it's
great
like a
in
red
like my
flag
regulation.
almost.
Yeah. I think it's just like so another thing, like another change for me in my life is I was recently diagnosed with ADHD
as an adult. Whoa.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, that was like, I don't know, 4 weeks ago.
What?
Yeah, it was pretty recent.
Wait, who put you in front of a psychologist or a psychiatrist?
Me.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
it's something I've been like talking to my therapist about, like, as time has gone on, and especially like over the last few months as I was like struggling with my job search, I kind of started to feel like some of these like not really symptoms, but just like behavioral traits were kind of becoming exacerbated with my like situation at the time. And it seemed to be like making it more difficult for me to, behave in interviews. And so that, tied with other things going on in my life too. I just was talking to my therapist about it more, and then we decided, well,
maybe we should see.
Yeah, let's just see.
Okay. Nice. Are you planning? Sorry, this is all very intimate, so you don't have to answer these questions if you want to. But are you like interested in doing like the trial for like medications for ADHD?
What do you mean trial?
Because
like a new medication
so I
or
always
something,
say it's like a trial because it's like it takes at least on average like 3 years to figure out what medication actually works for you, and it's like a complicated process of figuring out like the right balance, the right meds, and it affects your entire being the whole time, which is kind of scary, and it takes like weeks just to get results. So that's what I mean, where it's kind of like a trial. Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't sure if you were talking about like some new medication.
No.
I don't know.
Put them on a like
nope. I haven't talked to anyone.
Yeah,
but,
evil medical science.
Yeah, that was kind of the goal with like getting a diagnosis. So I was like, let's see if this is something that can help me, because I've talked to some friends more recently that have gotten on medication, and particularly we've talked about like very similar like traits and things that we've like struggled with. And they just were talking about how it was like night and day difference for them. It's so helpful. And I was like, well,
why not?
Let's try it. And so yes, I've been prescribed something. I haven't started taking it yet.
Okay.
I've decided to kind of wait until my life is a little bit more stable. Yeah. I've started my new job, and like I'm back from travels, and like just in it. This is not a great time for me to be trying something new. There's already a lot of things going on.
Yeah, a lot of things in the air. So I get that. Oh, well, I wish you luck. And I'll be here along your journey.
Yeah.
So if you need help or to talk, of
Thank
course.
you.
And not on camera, but, as it goes.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing. That's really, it's... I feel like it's getting better, the being able to talk about our struggles, like with mental stuff. It's just, I think a lot of us are affected by it a lot more than we give ourselves credit for. So
Yeah.
I'm just afraid to, not afraid, it's like I feel like medication scares me. It always has. Yeah, because my mom's like also like allergic to some like severe antidepressants. So like so she's always had like a struggle with that. And I don't know if she's also like not recalling things correctly. My mom has a tendency to like exaggerate points. I wonder where I got it. But love her. It's just sometimes I'm like, are we?
Yeah.
Or are you just saying that? Yeah.
Like, where does this actually
land? Where did this come from?
Yeah.
This information sounds like 10 years old. You know what I mean? Like, and you haven't gone back to it. So, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I hope it goes well. I've also been, like, pretty wary of medication. I haven't really had a medication before.
Oh, okay. Me neither.
Yeah, partly just, I think, some luck, and partly because I'm a little nervous. I've also got a little bit of a history, like self-medicating way back when.
100%.
Yeah, and so I'm definitely not. That was definitely where some of the fear came from too.
That's fair.
That was in previous phase of my life for sure. Totally. I'm not there anymore.
Yay.
But
yeah, it's a long journey. So like, no stress, and we're so young. I always forget about that because, like, I don't know. I feel like social media is making me feel like I should feel old, being like in my early 30s, which I'm like, I'm not even halfway there yet. Like, shut up.
Yeah.
It's weird.
I know we haven't really talked about it yet on camera, but that was like a beautiful thing for me about like coming out later in life. It was like a rebirth almost. Yeah. Because I was also starting, it was like right around when I turned 30. And so I was starting to feel that too. I was like, oh, I'm getting old now. Like, you know, my life is on the decline. And then, you know, the two probably kind of came hand in hand, but it was like a resurgence of like new life. And I was like, actually, I'm not. My life is just starting, you know?
Amen. Yeah. And same thing. When I turned 30, I was like, am I missing something?
Right.
So it's been like, it's a beautiful year because it's like, it's time to reassess. Because like when you're in your 20s, you're just kind of like grasping for everything, I felt like. For me, anyway.
Right.
I was just like, reaching in any direction to see what would like pull back and be like, ooh, great. But like in your 30s, you're like, I feel like you're more like not guided, but you're more like, I know what I want now.
Right.
Because like I've experienced a lot of that other stuff. But if you haven't, like 30 is when you start to like not regret, but it's like when you're like, oh, I need to like hardcore make up for everything that's been lost. Yeah. Like, I have some people I've been talking to who kind of like missed out in their 20s, which is crazy to me because I don't know, I took it like way too far. Yeah, like I don't know.
You had your 20s.
I had my 20s, but like it's crazy. Some people really don't, and that's crazy.
Yeah,
like I mean, even coming out like in your 30s, which is like I feel like a normal experience.
Yeah.
But nowadays, I feel like it's not shamed, but I feel like these young queers, they don't know what a lot of us went through in the early 90s.
Right.
Yeah, it was aggressive. Yeah, I remember even looking back at some of the media and like the fat shaming was real. That's crazy. No wonder all of us have body dysmorphia issues. Like I saw some clips of them calling Christina Aguilera fat, and she was like small.
The like beauty standards back then are insane.
Yeah, or like watching any of the old Tyra Banks show.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Like, it's like I can't believe we thought this was normal and fine.
Yeah. Oh my god, her rabies thing is still permanently in my mind. Those poor little audience members. Imagine they all are like, we're gonna have a great day at the Tyra show today. And then like Tyra like foam bites you. She like bit a lady in the audience.
I didn't see that one.
Oh yeah, it was bonkers. No, she like she went through the show like everything was fine.
Her teeth?
No,
or it was like
she was like she started foaming because she was like, oh, I got bit by like an animal earlier in the show. She was like, She like played this off.
But this was like a bit, or would she actually?
It was a bit.
Okay.
It was a bit. She had too many bits. It's like Wendy Williams, but like unhinged.
Okay.
Like Wendy Williams is already unhinged. I mean,
who's Wendy Williams? I don't know. I know. I'm sorry. We'll do this.
We're back to the Kinsey scale. Like, I think you're a solid in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but you don't understand references, which is crazy to me because gay culture is references.
Coming out later in life, it's like, well,
I missed that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did a Mean Girls reference earlier.
Which I have seen that movie, and I do know some of the references from that. But
okay.
He doesn't believe
it's
me.
not. No, I don't. It's not in the immediate Rolex, which to me is like, red flag. No, just kidding. No, it's fine. You don't need to, like, understand. Like, it's like being chronically online. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? When people are like, you don't understand this one meme.
It's exhausting to be chronically online.
Yeah. Well, it takes up all your time. Chronically.
Chronically.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Well, I think maybe...
I'm there. I'm catching up.
Are you?
A little bit.
I don't think so. I don't think
Thanks
so.
for the vote of confidence.
Yeah, hey, you don't need to go back. I'll just keep giving you good movies to watch in the future, and you'll be fine. The latest one I just told him to watch is, what was it? Mother?
Mother, yeah.
With Jennifer Lawrence.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my God. We need to watch it together.
I'm down.
Yeah, I love really bad. Not bad. I like weird movies that bring, like, cryptic biblical stories into a modern context and then have, like, modern Christians be like, I don't get it. That's my favorite.
Yeah. I love weird, cryptic, silly old movies. Not limited to biblical context.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
But, like, what do you mean? Like, give me one.
So someone, oh God, I can't remember the names of them, but there's one that we found. Someone like logged into Criterion on my TV. Do you know? You know Criterion?
No.
Oh, I'll show you.
Okay.
There's all kinds of wacky stuff on there.
Okay.
And we watched this old, like, Italian movie that's set in, like, a dystopian future in Bronx. Do you know what I'm talking about? You do?
Okay.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. There's all these different factions, and one faction is like the motorcycle leather faction. One faction is the roller skating faction, and there are all these different gangs. And there's some.
Is there a
plot
love story?
line. Yeah, there's a plot line
I
of
love
like
a love story,
like
in a
some
gangster
rich
dystopia.
bigwig's daughter like gets lost
Of
down there.
course.
And they're trying to, and then she wants to stay
finds
there.
The
There's
handsome
a law.
lowest of the low.
That's right.
Oh yeah, and they dance.
They do.
I
Yeah,
knew it.
they do. Yeah. There's like 3 or 4 of them too. It's a whole
There's
series.
a formula.
And it's hilarious because it's
Wow.
Italian, but it's set in the Bronx.
Oh, okay. So it's like subtitled.
Mhm.
It's like totally an Italian film.
I don't. Do you remember? I think I'm actually thinking of something else. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So you watch weird movies.
I love that. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Like ones people probably don't usually see.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm an A24 girly.
Mm.
So like I love horror, but I love like The Witch. Did you watch The Witch?
That's the one with the goat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Blackfella.
I love that movie.
Yeah. So anything where it's like that thing was like the worst case scenario pilgrim journey, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it was like a witch stole a baby. She crushed up the baby. She became hot and young. She had sex with the unbaptized son, and then
she like convert the daughter or something?
Yes,
Sorry for anyone that we're ruining this for.
Whatever. But she gets converted to be a witch. It's the worst case scenario.
Yeah.
And then
honestly, except for the daughter, like becoming a witch is awesome.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
the devil when he
Yes,
like
yes.
whispers at her.
Mhm.
Do you want to live deliciously? I'm like, yes, I do.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Man, I would be so screwed in that scenario.
Why?
I would just give in.
Oh, you wouldn't be screwed. You'd be a witch.
I don't know.
I'd want to be a witch. Why not?
Would they let me in?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Back then, men could be witches.
Oh, okay.
Stop. And we only know of like folklore, like Nordic folklore, because of Icelandic male witches. It has, yeah, isn't that weird?
Is that where like most of the witch stuff like comes from?
It stayed because it's one of the only places where witchcraft and Christianity kind of commingled.
There is a lot of there's like a museum I've heard of in Iceland, like a witchcraft
Oh,
museum.
yeah.
They've got like a
It's
pair
the
of
largest
necropants
church
there.
Yeah, it's the largest church. They have like a religion that's like it's like its own Icelandic thing, but most people adhere to it. It's a pagan thing, which is cool.
Yeah,
It's great. Yeah,
that's fun.
It's just fun. But what's crazy is, I don't know, the commodification of like Christianity at pagan things. So what's crazy is like a lot of like churches were built around sacred trees and stuff. So they're like where a bunch of pagans were like.
You mean like Christian churches built
Next to
like pagan
So like how do you get pagans in from the cold? They're outside worshiping trees. It's like, oh, let's just build a building conveniently right next to it and say it's also a holy place. And then like let's commodify their favorite holidays. Easter, let's take Christmas, let's take Halloween. You know, they commodified all these like the best parts of paganism. And then they're like, oh, it's Christian now.
Yeah.
Just assign a saint
just
to it.
Just absorbing it.
Yeah. Genius. It's horrifying.
Yeah.
But genius. That's why they've kind of conquered the world. It's gross.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I know. Imagine a timeline. I always talk about this with Edwin, too. I'm like, imagine a timeline where, like, no colonizers came to North America.
I would love it if, like, paganism
had a second surge.
Yeah, or if, like, paganism had taken over the world.
I mean, it'd be a better place.
I think so.
Yeah. I mean, we probably wouldn't be in this, though.
No.
We wouldn't be in a house.
You never know.
Not like this.
No.
Because I don't think we'd be as obsessed with, like, productivity. Maybe.
Does that really come from, like, Christianity, though? Like
maybe. I feel like Christianity and capitalism commingle really well. I don't think paganism
they definitely do here
and
in the
capitalism
US,
don't do well, is my assumption.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it, like, parts of, like, the tenets of paganism are, like, to respect everything around you. Whereas Christianity is like, it's fine. Just pay your tithe.
Modern Christianity.
Just pay your tithe and don't be gay. And don't do that. I don't know. It's all.
I'd rather do neither of those things.
Yeah. And before
I want to be gay and I want to not pay a tithe.
Yeah, and do crimes.
Yeah, I love doing crimes.
I know, right? Maybe we should deviate to our art activity.
Sure.
Before we deviate too far.
Yeah.
We'll
could go all
in
day.
A second. We really can. Welcome back. Now we're just gonna. You've done this before. Another one of my participants from my research project. Luckily, everyone's been so kind with their time, so really appreciate that. We'll just start the body scan. So if we want to have a seat, close our eyes. Deep breath in, out. And we're gonna start with imagining a bright light starting at the crown of our head. Slowly moving down our neck, through to our shoulders, down into our elbows, down into our hands, into our fingertips, back into our spine, slowly down our chest, through our stomachs, down to our hips, through to our knees, through to our feet. And if you want to imagine taking root into the earth, please do. And whenever you're ready to open your eyes, feel free to return to us, and we'll start the first body scan. Perfect.
All right.
Yeah.
Oops.
And then we'll switch into our painting activity, and then perfect. And then
Oh.
yeah. Oh yeah,
Yes.
I just do it on top. You can also like. There's no wrong or right answer. Perfect.
There we go.
Yeah. And then don't forget your pints, and then we'll clean up afterwards if you need it. And then a good conversation to maybe prompt us while we're painting. Maybe your experience with therapy or like, anything you're willing to talk about. Are you in therapy now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
yeah.
perfect.
Yeah, I've been seeing a therapist for the last 2 years or so.
Okay.
Had some like therapy experiences in the past that had some mixed results for sure. But my current therapist, I have been enjoying seeing them. It's definitely been a positive experience for me overall.
Okay. Do you see them weekly?
Now it's every 2 weeks.
Oh, okay. Every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. And you've seen the same this whole time.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I think in the past I had a therapist that I was only able to see for maybe like 4 or 5 sessions.
Oh.
And I really liked them and wanted to continue seeing them, but I wasn't able to. And so after that, I was trying to find a new one, and just struggled so hard to find somebody that was a good match for me.
Yeah, yeah.
And I eventually just kind of gave up.
Oh, okay.
And this was years ago. This was maybe like 12 years ago.
Okay.
And then I just kind of didn't come back to it for a while, even though I definitely needed to.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, now I've been back.
Nice.
And it's been a very positive experience for me.
Good. Is it primarily like narrative therapy? Like primarily talk therapy? It's not like some...
Yeah, we're not doing like CBT or anything like that. It's mostly just like talking about things. I'm going to have some fun here.
Yeah, please do.
Go with these ones.
Ooh.
Mostly just like communicating. She focuses a lot on like positive reinforcement, positive feedback.
Oh, okay.
Which is interesting. You know, sometimes I like that, and sometimes I'm like,
does it feel like cheerleading?
Yeah, sometimes it's like this is not exactly what I need, but whatever. Next time.
Yeah, I find like with myself, I almost need like. So there's a form of therapy called like Gestalt, which is
Gestalt.
Gestalt, yeah.
Okay.
It's the German word for shape, which means like so. In that form of therapy, there's a way to have a good shape. So it's called like having a good Gestalt, which is like the shape of your life. Basically, is like a good shape. It's very German.
Yeah.
So it's they believe that like the human is very like self not saving but self preservation. So like if you go up to a person and you're like and they're like, I feel really insecure, and it's like, well, why are you lying to yourself? Why are you like, it's like confronting you and being like, why are you so insecure if you're this powerful awesome person?
Yeah.
Like, and then it's kind of like if you say things where you're like, well, I'm not that bad. And it's like, well, where did that come from? You just said you were a bad person. Like, it's confronting the contradictions that you tell yourself. So it's like to beat you into like being like, you're not that. So like, stop thinking that, which is, I think, good for people who've experienced therapy before. It's not good for those who've never experienced therapy.
Who are like just kind of getting started in their journey.
Getting started and like trying to like self-realize yourself, like Gestalt's not good for you. But it's good for those, like, we were watching in one of my therapy classes, we were watching like this lady in the 40s. She was like being talked, basically she had like a fire day of like meeting with 4 famous therapists, and like each one interviewed her like with a videotape. So it shows basically like 3 different forms of therapy.
Mm-hmm.
And while we were watching it, everyone was like, oh my God, Gestalt's like the worst. We were all like watching it being like, this is shocking.
Mm-hmm.
And like, fuck this old man. Like, no offense. But it was just like very, everyone was upset. And like, they were like in the chat, I remember people were like, what is this white man telling? And then at the end, though, the woman, she was like, I feel like I had the most progress and the most like learning of myself when I was being confronted, because I was able to like realize a lot about myself during those moments.
So during it seemed like a detrimental
bad.
process.
Yes, but
it actually,
fact, it was the most effective.
It's very German, just beating it out of you.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, and just being like, you are better now. No. yeah. Like,
good job.
Yeah, right. And it's just so interesting. But what's funny is modern Gestalt is so far away from that. So they carried his legacy, but took away his confrontation. Because like people will say, oh, like that therapist famously was confrontational, so they like he's been labeled as like problematic in history, which is kind of fun. So it's just like it's interesting.
But they're still like following the same principles.
Yes,
and it's
of like
but doing
trying
it in a different
to
way.
get it's just less confrontational.
Okay,
basically they don't do the thing anymore where like if you watch the interview, it's tense. Like the whole time he's like belittling the person across the room from him.
But he's very direct and
well, he's just pointing out the inconsistencies or the hypocrisies that we tell ourselves. So if you doubt yourself or like we, especially as Americans, I feel like we love a little self-deprecation. He hated that shit. He was like, no, how dare you insult yourself like that in front of me
in my house?
Yeah. Well, yeah. So it was very like, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Like, cause it's, but it's been dubbed like cancel worthy, which is kind of fun.
Yeah. That's interesting. I mean, that's like, it reminds me of just, I wasn't really doing this in therapy, but just like, like maybe a decade ago, I was pretty severely depressed and kind of trying to develop my frontal lobe and and like figure some things out. And I found myself like as part of like a healing process for myself, just like noticing patterns and behaviors like that when I'm receding or when I'm just like kind of getting down on myself and just asking in my head, ask myself like, why are you feeling this way? Why, why are you reacting this way? And, I didn't always have an answer at the time, but at least just like recognizing that like, okay, this is a reaction of some sort.
That's half the battle is realizing that's a reaction.
Yeah.
So that's great.
And the other half is figuring out what to do about that. That takes a little longer.
Yeah. Well, and that's what a therapist can help with, right? Building up the tools to like, when you're ready for that question, it's like, oh, where do I steer here from now?
Right.
Yeah. And this is something Hannah and I were talking about too. She sent me a video of like, it's really hard for like, because a lot of the current therapists are addressing people who've never done a lot of self-criticism or like self-reflection. So it's like mainly a lot of therapists are taught like how to just teach people how to reflect upon themselves. So there isn't a lot of research or even like implementation of like what are next steps, for a therapist to treat people. It's like, what are our next steps to like work on allowing people who are like in that exact scenario? How do I help train you to prepare for those moments? So it's just interesting, which I think falls into like somatic exercises, like teaching.
Is that like
people
the tapping and stuff?
Yeah, tapping, stimming, figuring out what can get you into into the present, as quickly as possible, and to not be like stuck in these like harmful patterns that you might have. So it's interesting, like discussing like the troubles that oftentimes current therapists are facing too, where it's like you were dealing with 2 very distinct populations of people who like have never done anything mindful before. So it's like putting on training wheels,
right?
To be like, hey, you should check in on your vessel.
Yeah, and that can be a really hard thing to start and like.
Oh yeah, and it can often, that's the hardest because these people, it's like they're in the most fragile because they haven't checked in.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, God knows. And like, hopefully they haven't abused their bodies to the point that they like are so disconnected that it's like traumatic to reunite them with their bodies. Like, that's something that I fear with working with some, like, I don't know, just being a queer person. I understand that we put a lot of high expectations on our bodies. So I just think it's like, it can be really scary to like invite people, like, not to invite people, but to like have the harsh reality of telling some people it's like, this is your one and only body and you should be much kinder to it than like how you are now.
Right.
And that's hard news to hear, you know, and then you have to adapt a lot depending. Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But hopefully we'll get there as a society. I don't know.
I think we're on a good track.
I hope so.
Yeah.
There's
ups and downs all the time.
Yeah, and I feel like our community here in Washington, we've definitely, especially with like the latest stuff that's happening societally, we're very much like, we're taking care of our own, I feel like.
Yeah. And I'd have to say, shout out to Gen Z. I feel like they're bringing a lot of like mental wellness and stuff into more of a mainstream like de facto.
Oh
yeah,
like Mentee.
Just
silly like words. Like they're coming up with words to describe states of mental wellness or like illness, or but like to describe feelings in that way and also make it a joke is beautiful because our generation could never.
No,
you know what I mean? We were like, you don't want that. Whereas, like, they're like, I'm having a Mentee bee today.
Yeah.
Like, it's very, like, they're proud of it, almost. I'm like, I'm here. You all have accepted how fraught it really can be. So, good on you.
Yeah. But it was definitely rough for the millennials. And we had white the whole time.
I know, it's in the middle.
I didn't even notice it.
I know. I'm sorry. You can still use it. And then if you'd like to share what your artwork means, or I can start. Of course. Yeah. Sorry.
I got excited. I just
dove
all
in.
my I was thinking about that on my way over here. I was like, really just want to stick all my fingers in it.
Yes. And I kind of refrigerated it, so they were more like viscous or like thicker.
Yeah, I think some of them was like more like clay than us.
Yeah, but I kind of like the textures that came out. So there we go. I'll start first if that's okay.
Sure.
Yeah. So I don't know. I did something more structural today. This is a lot more different than my usual. I like to do mergings a lot, but I feel like when we were talking, I just wanted to align my thoughts better. So for me, this was just like to, settle myself into, I don't want to say like maybe I was like medications. Have you seen those videos where they're like mass laying out medication?
Oh, yeah. Like when they're like, they're putting it in the pills and stuff.
Yeah, and they're doing like the weird thing where they like slide everything. It kind of like
so satisfying.
Yeah. It has that reminiscent. So maybe I was thinking about the ADHD medications because like I don't want to say like I'm having my own like, I don't know. I always say I've escaped the psychiatrists. Like I don't necessarily want to be diagnosed.
Yeah.
Not that there's anything bad with being diagnosed. I just think also as like a therapist, or like training to become a therapist, I think there's some controversies with being like, not that there's anything wrong with the struggle, but I think like I was talking to one student who was like, get as many diagnoses as possible because then you get more of your school paid for. And I was like, that actually sounds psychotic. Like that. Okay.
But sure.
I didn't do that. So it was just bonkers.
Yeah.
But yeah. So it just.
I've not heard that take. That's actually kind of funny.
Oh, I know. The more you talk to people who are training to be therapists, the more unwell you realize the world actually is. Some people shouldn't be therapists. Perfect. And that's my art. Would you like to share yours? You don't have to.
No, I'll share it. That's why I'm here.
Yay.
So here's me. So for me, I feel like there's, like we talked about a bit before, there's been a lot of change in my life, and there's been a lot of like kind of good and bad things going on. So kind of the way I described it with my therapist most recently was it feels like emotional flux. Like I've been kind of up and down fairly rapidly. There's been really good things happening, like the new job, and just like spring's here. It's the equinox today. Like I'm very happy about that. But there's been some harder things too. There was a death in my family recently. And I've felt like I've been able to like let these emotions come and go and just let them flow. And it kind of feels like they're flowing through me. And so that's kind of what I drew here today. There's just like a lot of emotions that are kind of coming in and out, and I'm just letting them pass through. Oh. And it's felt good and healthy.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So much. Oh. And then, if you're into tearing it,
yes,
do you want to do?
I love this.
Yeah. And then try into the microphone. It's kind of fun. It's ASMR-y.
Yeah. That's so satisfying.
really get that out, you know?
Yeah.
Perfect. And then if you were ready to do the second body scan, we can jump into that.
I'll just leave those there.
Oh, okay, sweet. We'll close our eyes. Deep breaths. And we'll start with imagining a bright light starting at the top of our head, slowly moving down to our neck, down to our shoulders, through to our elbows, to our hands and our fingertips, back up to our spine, slowly going down through our chest, into our stomachs, through to our hips, down through our knees, through our shins, into our feet, into our toes. And if you'd like to envision rooting into the earth, please do. Whenever you're ready to return to us, feel free to open your eyes. We're ready for part 2.
All right.
Perfect. We'll maybe
right.
sign and date them.
Oh, yeah.
20th? Yeah. Cool. So 3, 20. 25. And then with your permission, we'll probably take a little shot of these and put them up on the screen.
Just hold it up?
If you'd like.
Okay.
And then we also just like edit the thing. And then we'll do a little cleanup and we'll be right back.
All right.
Welcome back.
We're back.
Yeah. How was that for you? I know you did it once before, so.
Twice before, actually.
Oh, twice before.
Yeah.
Yeah, you came to the LGBTQ center.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much. You're the only person to show up.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Love. Made it worth
I'm
it.
glad I was there.
I mean, I established a relationship with them, so it's not a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
But like, yeah, and I invited a lot of people, but no one showed up.
Oh, right. But then you did kind of like a big group once.
Mm-hmm.
Someone invited you.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
An earlier guest, Bryce, invited me to their company to do it because they're an HR person.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like cool because it counts as like an HR like activity for the business.
For them, whatever they're doing.
Yeah. It was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but this was good. I feel like each time it was better for me. You know?
Yeah, I feel like you dove more into it a bit more. Yeah.
You mean today?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas before it was still there. It's just I think you kept to a theme of us. Whereas like today it was more you, which I love.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. To be like, to facilitate little moments of our own journey.
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like that fits well too for me today also because I've like, I've just had like a day for me today.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Do you continue to plan on, like, are you going to continue your luxury first day of freedom?
What do you mean?
I don't know. Anything in the plans after, I mean?
I've got one plan.
Ooh, what is it?
It's getting a burrito and watching the
Carmelo's?
new episode of Severance. Of course.
Okay.
Of course, Carmelo's.
Everyone's obsessed with the Severance business.
I think it's fun. The last 2 episodes I've been like,
Isn't it just kind of like, I don't know, post-capitalism nonsense?
It's interesting. It's like pretty like deep
Is it?
capitalism. Yeah, not post, like deep.
Like mid.
And it's like a weird mixture of like corporate capitalism if like it was run by like Mormons or something. Yeah. It's very
This is
very
like Get
kooky.
Out for queer. Like, I'm like,
no thank you.
I don't like any of that.
Yeah. It
Wow.
definitely is like a hellscape.
It sounds like
Yeah.
a hellscape. I don't like that, like, I don't know. It's weird. It promotes a lot of like split personality ideation to me, which is like,
well, it's
great.
definitely not like romanticizing it.
Sure. But
Yeah.
my problem is the American audience that's watching is oftentimes not, they don't have enough nuance to understand that. Is my fault. Or like my general opinion. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm curious. I feel like
some people might watch it and they'll be like, I want this.
Huh.
Like they're like, oh, I get to check out of work? That sounds amazing.
Yeah, I
I
feel
can
like
just disassociate.
I'm curious to look around and see. I feel like it's pretty clear because they like very clearly address in the show like this is why people want to do this and here's why it sucks.
I know. I've just been on Twitter. So.
Oh yeah, I'm not on Twitter, and that's good for my mental health for sure. Yeah.
No, today I was like, I was just scrolling through. Like I clicked a thing and I was like reading, and I was like, why do I find a comment where I'm like, oh, I totally agree with this point. Why do I feel the need to click it and then read like anonymous people's vitriol?
Oh, you're talking about going into
good opinion
the
that I
comment
read.
section?
Yeah, you know what I
yeah.
mean? Like, why do I feel the need to read all this like vile opinions for people that like don't matter?
It's like I don't even know you.
I don't know.
I got to be in a very specific mood to actually dive into the comment section of something.
I feel like that's all I do.
Yeah. You love that.
Feel like that's all I do. And it's not for my own stuff. It's funny because like I'm a lurker account. Like I don't have followers. I think I have 3 and I block them all. Like when you follow me, I'm like, oh, I should block you. Like you've seen too much.
No.
Yeah. No. And
there's nothing here for you
like,
to see
hiding
anyway.
The likes, I was like, yay! It's like Tumblr. I can like accumulate porn again. But it's all just up in the air.
Did they take porn off of Twitter again?
Tumblr they did.
Tumblr they got rid
Twitter,
of it. But Twitter
they threatened it, but I mean it's still there. I don't know. I feel like that's all my social media has ever been about. I'm like hopping around slowly archiving that. Sorry, Mom. No, it
Don't
was just
open
like,
that folder.
Yeah. No, she never touched my computers, thank God. Once I was caught. And then me and my mom, we had an awkward one-on-one in the vacuum closet.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because she was like, she wanted to confront me, but I had 3 siblings.
Not much privacy.
Yeah, not much privacy at all. And I was like, I don't know if I want to say this.
We can cut it.
Maybe.
I don't know. We can talk about it later, too.
I was masturbating in my brother's room using his computer because I didn't want it on my search history. I was like,
fine.
Fuck up
We've
his
all done
computer.
things like that.
Fuck up his computer. I don't care. And then, my mom caught me. She like walked in.
Oh, one
Have
of those.
you ever? Yeah, it was kind of embarrassing. And then I was like, oh, well, sorry. And then she was like, what'd she say? Oh, she was just like, oh, don't do that in your brother's room. I think was like the lay down, but he wasn't even home. So I was like, whatever.
Yeah.
I didn't want it on my computer. I don't want viruses of the weird stuff I'm looking up as a 13-year-old. Like, I was youngish. I don't know.
You've already got enough viruses from LimeWire back then, too.
No joke. I never did LimeWire. That was my sister.
Really?
She was the LimeWire queen in our house. She even, what was it? It was like ice lemon, or there was another version of LimeWire that like had an ice word in it.
I'm surprised I remember FrostWire.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's how old we are.
Yeah.
That's not even like a thing anymore.
No.
Like, why would you like down MP3s? But what's so sad is I feel like I never have music anymore. Like if I go on a flight and I'm like, oh, I don't have Wi-Fi, what am I gonna listen to?
You don't download stuff on
I do a little bit, but it's
something?
I use the YouTube music, so it downloads like stuff that I frequently listen to. So it's like it's just the same.
Oh, you don't
playlist.
really choose. Oh yeah, no, I have some of that problem too. If I like forget to do it ahead of time, I'm like,
yeah, I'm
this
doomed.
is like the stuff that they keep feeding me.
Correct.
Rather than the stuff that I actually listen to.
And I feel like if someone actually grabbed my phone and saw the music that I listen to versus like what people think I am associated with, like I come on, like I always say at the Flammable, I'm like, I'm a techno kid, as if like at home I'm just listening to techno. I'm listening to like Marina and the Diamonds. I'm still listening to Fruit. I'm still like playing that whole album and like crying in between. I love sad girl music. Sad girl music. That's where I live.
Other than at the club.
Well, only on Sundays. It's not like I'm there other days.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not that much
sometimes
of
the Friday and Saturday.
Am I a club kid? Would you say I'm a club kid?
You're a flammable kid.
I'm a flammable kid. That's too true. And speaking of which, I've never promoted Flammable on this podcast, but I need to. Flammable, 30-year-old house dance party. Chop Suey every Sunday, 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. Chop Suey in Seattle. Everywhere else, screw off. Just kidding.
Get out of here. That's
fine.
Flammable, we love you.
Yeah, we really do. Oh my God, this last one was really good. Did you leave before the headliner came on?
Yeah, I had to. Yeah. But I had fun.
Tears, John. It was so good. Like, I don't think I can express to you how much better it got. It was weird. I wasn't expecting it to, because I was like, oh, we'll see. Because Courtney didn't sell me.
Yeah, we didn't have like high expectations.
I know. I love low expectations and then them being superseded, you know, being like, oh.
It was great.
It was.
I wish I could have stayed, but it was just like the last few days of my work. I was like,
yeah, and you had work the next day.
So close to being done.
Yeah. Did they put you through the ringer?
Yeah.
Did they really? No. Yeah. Like you were working until your last hour?
I was working like 10, 11 hours all last week. Yeah.
I can't. I'm so sorry. For a toothbrush.
That's
crazy to me. That's bonkers. Oh. Anything you want to promote or shout out to aside from your congratulations on that? Do you mind if we post your Insta?
Sure.
No food stamps, right? No more food snaps,
I think. Yeah. Yeah, there's not really much going on there. It's
that
also a
from
lurker
Snapchat?
account.
Yeah. It is, I know. Most of your pics are hilarious. It's just like empty plates.
Yeah. That was like the silly little thing that I started with and then got bored. And now I just look at memes.
Yep. As it goes. I use it like as a messenger. Like I don't post much actually on my
Yeah, I rarely
Insta.
post. Sometimes if I'm feeling in the right mood, I'll like put something on my story. And then I guess it also goes to my Facebook that I don't use. And so now all of a sudden get like Facebook messages from like my dad or something.
I was a victim of this. No, I posted a pic of Edwin and I both from Detroit. No, from San Francisco. We were there for like a gay party and I didn't know. I forgot that I linked my Instagram and my Facebook.
You're
and
like,
it's
I
like
don't
grandma
want this
is on Facebook, you know.
Yeah.
But no, Edwin got a call from his
watching.
dad being like, I see you in like a harness on the internet. Like, what is this?
What's going on?
And my Edwin was so embarrassed. I was like, you're hot. Who cares? Like, I was like, who cares? But I went to Facebook and I deleted that one photo.
I need to do that. I need to figure out how to do that.
Yeah. I feel like Facebook is literally just like waiting to bring us all down because it like has all of our old dirty laundry just sitting there.
They sure do.
I did, yeah. There was one image somewhere where I was like, oh, if this ever gets out, like I could never work in politics.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't even identify me in it, but like my friend wrote a racist thing on a board.
Oh, you've just got like that.
And I'm in the photo. Yeah.
Mm.
And I'm like, fucking
you're done
Brittany?
for. Your political career is over.
I know. Well, whatever. I'm not in politics, so I'm okay. And I feel like as a therapist, what's nice is I can be like, I was 16.
Mm-hmm.
I was dumb. I didn't write that. It's not in my handwriting. And Brittany's holding the board.
Yeah.
I'm not.
You see the pen in their hand?
Yeah, I know.
And
I had to
also,
go through one of those processes where you like have to get the photo deleted on someone else's Facebook.
Oh, like you have to like report it or something like that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I was like, this is inappropriate. It is. There's like not good things being said in this image. And now everyone's going to be like, I have to find this image because that's the way the internet works.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I think I got it banned. So that's great. I don't know.
It's not public, but they've got it somewhere.
Maybe. Melanie. She does. She took the photo. I know. I had a messenger. I was like, can you
get
this
rid
down?
of that one?
That one's like a little much for me.
We don't need that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, my friend Brittany at the time, she's like an angry young queer person who just came out. She was so angry. Us young queer people, when we're repressed, we will burn the village.
True.
Yeah. Have you heard that
Absolutely.
African motto of like the child that doesn't feel the warmth of the village will burn it down to feel it?
Like a story, or it's like a...
No, that's like a
phrase?
It's like it's like a... not a metaphor, but like a motto of like, don't, like no child left behind.
Mm-hmm.
Not
No, I
in
haven't
the
heard that
education
before.
sense, but yeah, it's like affectionate wise. Like,
I like that more than No Child Left Behind.
yeah.
It's more like
Actual.
invigorating.
Yeah. Well, it invites you to like treat people better versus like force children how to like pass standardized testing.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Anyway, well, thank you so much for being here. 2025. Eat ass, do crime.
That's right. Yeah, we're doing it.
Full circle. Bye.
Bye.